Welcome back, sixth grade. We will continue with Chapter 2, Lesson 1, Studying Geography, on page 6 of our online textbook.
Types of maps. Guiding question. What are some of the key ways that maps are used? Geographers use many different types of maps. Maps that show a wide range of information are called general-purpose maps. These maps are often collected into one book called an atlas. An atlas may be a collection of special area maps, such as North America maps, or general maps of the entire world. Two of the most common general-purpose maps found in an atlas are physical and political maps. Physical maps show land and water features. The colors used on physical maps include brown or green for land and blue for water. Physical maps may also use colors to show elevation. Elevation is the height of an area above sea level. A key explains the meaning of each color. Political maps show the names and borders of countries. They also show the location of cities and other human-made features of a place. Often they identify major physical features of a land area. Special purpose maps. Some maps show specific kinds of information. These are called special purpose maps. They usually show patterns such as climate, natural resources, or population. A road map is another example of a special purpose map. Like this map of Alexander's empire, special purpose maps may also display historical information, such as battles or territorial changes.
So you can see that map I just pulled up over here in your resources tab.
Reading maps. An important step in reading a map is to study the map key. The key explains the lines and colors used on a map. It also explains any symbols or signs and pictures used on a map. For example, the map of Alexander's empire details the size of the empire, the route of Alexander's conquest, and some important battles. Cities are usually shown as a solid circle, like the one for Athens. The map's scale is a measuring line that tells you the distances represented on the map. Suppose you wanted to know the approximate distance from Tampa, Florida to New York City. Using the scale bar will help you calculate this distance. A map has a symbol called a compass rose that tells you the position of the cardinal directions, north, south, east, and west. Cardinal directions help you explain the relative location of any place on Earth. Some maps also have a locator map, a small inset map. This shows where the region on the large map is located. Progress check.
Okay, so going back to these cardinal directions, so the north, south, east, west, those are known as the cardinal directions. When you're referring to directions in between those, so like northeast, southeast, southwest, northwest, those would be called intermediate directions. So intermediate, like in between those cardinal directions.
Using charts, graphs, and diagrams. Guiding question. What are the uses of charts, graphs, and diagrams? Charts, graphs, and diagrams are tools for showing information. The first step to understanding these visual aids is to read the title. This tells you the subject. Charts show facts in an organized way. They arrange information in rows and columns. To read a chart, look at the labels at the top of each column and on the left side of the chart. The labels explain what the chart is showing. Graphs come in different types. Bar graphs use thick, wide lines to compare data. They are useful for comparing amounts. Line graphs show changes over a particular period of time. A climate graph, or climograph, combines a line graph and a bar graph. It shows the long-term weather patterns in a place. To read a bar graph, line graph, or climograph, look at the labels along the side and bottom. The vertical line along the left side of the graph is the y-axis. The horizontal line along the bottom is the x-axis. One axis tells you what is being measured. The other axis tells what units of measurement are being used. Pie graphs are circular graphs that show how the whole of something is divided into parts. Each slice shows a part or percentage of the whole pie. The entire pie totals 100%. Diagrams are special drawings. They show steps in a process, point out the parts of an object, or explain how something works. An elevation profile is a diagram that shows a piece of land as if it were sliced open. This shows changes in height. Population and culture. Guiding question. How do geographers study population and culture? Like geographers, historians study population, culture, and the movement of people, ideas, and goods. Historians are interested in how these things change over time. Population shifts. Population refers to how many people live in a specific area or place. Geographers study this in great detail. They look at what sorts of people make up a population. They examine how fast a population grows or shrinks over time. They also measure population density. This is the average number of people living in a square mile or square kilometer. A choropleth uses colors to show population density. Populations can also change location. The movement of people from one place to settle in another place is called migration. Throughout history, there have been many migrations of human beings. Culture and change. Culture is the set of beliefs, behaviors, and traits shared by the members of a group. Scholars study cultures by examining the language, religion, government, and customs of different groups. Throughout history, different peoples have met through exploration, migration, and trade. These meetings often lead to cultural diffusion. In cultural diffusion, each group shares part of its culture with the other. Sometimes a completely new culture is formed. Many historians believe this happened in India as a result of the Aryan migrations.
Okay, so that leads us to the end of Chapter 2, Lesson 1, studying geography. So just make sure that you've completed it, answered all your questions, and that's all you need to do for this. Have a great rest of your day.